You're listening to Sox in the Basement, a production of the Broadcast Basement Limited, where every show is 30 minutes of good and comes from a basement bar on the south side of Chicago. Pull up a stool, pour a cold one, and join us right now for Sox in the Basement. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at soxinthebasement.com. Welcome down to Sox in the Basement. My name is Chris Lanuti, and you are listening to yet another simulated broadcast of a simulated White Sox game and a simulated White Sox season. Doing it since opening day, and we will not stop until Major League Baseball actually returns. And don't worry, if it does return before the season ends, we'll quick sim through the rest of this thing and we'll give you a result to the season you're listening to, although it keeps getting bleaker and bleaker as we look ahead and see whether or not there'll actually be a Major League season. We're going to talk about that a little bit during this game today, and we're going to bring you Game 3 of a 3-game set against the Kansas City Royals. The White Sox entered this game 15-9, 3 games out of first place behind the Twins, sitting in second, a game and a half above the third-place Indians. Kansas City's 8-15, and last night, the White Sox beat them 16-2. Reynaldo Lopez takes the mound as we go for the sweep before starting a road trip on the West Coast. It's all brought to you by Cork and Carry at the Park at 33rd and Princeton. Support them now and get yourself some great ballpark food anytime. Use Grubhub or go direct to corkandcarryatthepark.com. And remember, post-game and analysis always at the world-famous SoxOn35th.com blog. All of that out of the way, let's get to some baseball. Using MLB The Show 20, we now bring you White Sox Baseball from Sox in the Basement, found everywhere podcasts can be found and always at soxinthebasement.com. Let's go. And welcome to the south side of Chicago. My name is Chris Lanuti, and you are listening to another White Sox simulated game using MLB The Show as the 15-9 White Sox host the Kansas City Royals for the 9th time all season, and we aren't even out of April yet. It's going to be day baseball getaway as the White Sox start a West Coast road trip, and Reynaldo Lopez takes the mound. 4 starts, 2-1, ERA of 4.63 over 23 1/3 innings, 21 hits, 7 walks. That's a 1.20 whip that leads the team. He also has 22 strikeouts. And Alberto Mondesi coming off a day off yesterday when the White Sox won 16-2 and took the first 2 games of this 3-game series, will lead off hitting 241 from the left side of the plate. Lopez with a changeup that misses low starts us off, and the count is quickly 1-0. Looking around the diamond today, Yasmani Grandal gets the start yet again. He's starting to work his way out of his slump, so Ricky Renteria is going to give James McCann this series off. The next pitch on the way, low changeup, 2-0. 57 degrees, clear skies, wind 4 miles an hour blowing out. Looks like to dead center, although it is swirling a little bit going out towards right field as well. The 2-0 pitch on the way. A bunt attempt pops straight back to Grandal, who catches it easily, and that's the first out of the inning. Going around the horn, Abreu's over at first. Nick Madrigal gets the start at second. Anderson in the lineup at short. Moncada at third. Eloy Jimenez getting a day off. He's going to have Leury Garcia replacing him in left field. Luis Roberts in center. And right field has Adam Engel, as the left-hander Mike Montgomery is pitching for the Royals today, and Engel has been tearing up left-handed hitting and is also the better of the two when you put him and the newly acquired Nomar Mazara side by side, especially when it comes to left-handed starters. A 1-0 pitch to Alex Gordon by Lopez is fouled off down the third base line, 1-1. Encarnacion is the DH. The pitch on the way. Sent out to center field. Roberts going to get to it after it hops twice in the grass. That's going to be a single. So a runner aboard and Gordon. A big night at the ballpark last night for the White Sox. They jumped out quick. After Gio Gonzalez only needed 9 pitches to get through the Royals in the top of the first, the White Sox got 4 up there quickly behind a grand slam by Encarnacion, as this one's fouled off down the first base line by Whit Merrifield, hitting 176 in that 3 spot. He's there every day. They're just waiting for him to start hitting like he did last year. Outside corner, that one catches on a curve, 0-2 the count. So the Sox get 4. They end up hitting 3 more home runs, including another grand slam by Jimenez. He had 2 home runs on the evening. And the Sox win it 16-2 last night. But all that gets erased. We're back to a new ball game, and none of that matters now. It's just a win. This one swung on and fouled back. The count is 1-2. Freddie Ferguson, the home plate umpire, first time we've had him all year. The pitch from Lopez checked up on a changeup below the knees, 2-2 the count. Merrifield's a right-handed hitter. Lopez is a right-handed pitcher. And Gordon leads off at first base. One out here in the top of the first. Chopped down the first base line. Abreu's going to catch it. Throw it straight over to Anderson at second. He brings it back to Abreu. 3-6 and back to 3 on the double play. And midway through the first inning, no score with the White Sox coming up for the first time. Mike Montgomery, 4 starts so far, 2-1, 2.28 ERA, 23 2/3 innings in which he's only given up 19 hits and 6 walks. That's a whip of 1.06. He struck out 16, incredibly effective in terms of keeping players off base. He's doing an excellent job of that so far this year. Tim Anderson's average has dipped to 326. That tells you how he started off the year. He leads off here. And the lefty Montgomery jams him inside. It goes off down the first base line into the stands. Anderson's second on his team right now in batting average behind Adam Engel. Engel actually qualifying at this point with the amount of at-bats that he's had to rank number 1. Next pitch sent out into left field, tailing back towards the wall. It may carry, it will. Into the bullpen, and Tim Anderson leads off with a 366-foot solo shot into left field that got up and just tailed out. Didn't get out of here quick. Estimated only 96 miles per hour. A lot of home runs are up in the 105s, the 110 marks. So it hung up there, but TA takes it out. And the Sox lead 1-0. 1 batter, 1 run. We pick up where we left off last night. Pretty swing, but until that thing cleared, it just felt like it was going to come down before the wall. Stayed up there just long enough. Just enough wind on that one. Larry Garcia comes up hitting 296. He's seeing a lot of time in the 2 spot now that Moncada is batting cleanup on the regular. And all of this because it's been a hard time finding somebody who can consistently hit well in the 4 spot, although I believe Eloy Jimenez is going to move back in there eventually. Outside cut fastball, the count evens 1-1 to Garcia. White Sox lead 1-0, no outs here in the bottom of the first. Montgomery's 5th pitch is a low inside changeup taken for a ball, 2-1. Next offering swung on and missed on a sinker, tailing away outside. Count evens at 2. The next pitch on the way, chopped down the third base line, foul. Montgomery goes inside on a 4-seamer and misses. Count goes full with Abreu on deck hitting 290. 5 homers for him so far this season. White Sox one of the best offenses in the majors at this point in the season. Swung on and charged out into left field. Tailing back is Gordon. It will get over his head and bounce off the wall. He dove for it, so now he's on the ground. Center fielder comes over and gets the ball as he lays there. Garcia's standing at second with a double. First 2 batters, home run and a double. Both of them out in the left field. This is how you want to start the game, that's for sure. Montgomery, remember I said a 1.06 whip, the best pitcher on this staff for the Royals. And this one's drilled right up the middle. It's going to get out to center field on a slow roller. Leury Garcia comes around. The throw comes in, and it is not in time, and the White Sox lead this game quickly 2-0. As Abreu wastes no time putting one right back up the middle on the first pitch. All 3 of the first 3 hitters for the White Sox have come up. All 3 have gotten on base, home run, double, RBI single. And Yoan Moncada comes up. And if you're the Royals right now, you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. How is this still continuing at this point? Moncada's hitting .333. Stands in with only 2 home runs, 12 RBI. His OPS just a hair under 900. Not a lot of deep fly balls, not a lot of extra base hits for Yoan, but he's hitting well. And he's driving in runs. Inside pitch catches the corner, the first 2 did, so it's 0-2. So he needs to find the power stroke. That's the only thing going on with him. And that will come. Inside, curveball taken at the knees. 1-2 the count. I'm drinking a Knackered It's a great ale put out by Blue Island Beer Company. And it is tasty today on this Wednesday as Moncada charges this one in the left field. Base hit. He's got a single. The first 4 have reached. First and second, no outs, 2 runs already in. The Sox jumping all over the Royals. You know, it was weird when you saw the White Sox at opening weekend do so well against the Royals. Sure, they dropped the 3rd game, but it was close. And then they lose 2 out of 3 in Kansas City, and you're like, how is this season series tied? The Royals are not as good as us. As Encarnacion steps in, takes a ball outside, 1-0 the count. But this series, so far, has been the series that has shown who's the better team for sure, as this one is ripped out into deep left center field. It's going to bounce off the wall. Abreu didn't start going. For some reason, he thought that ball was going to get caught. That is a bad job by either Abreu or the third base coach. Way too conservative on that one. There was no way anybody was getting to that, and Abreu was so busy watching it. I don't know if he thought it was going to clear, but he does not score. The bases are loaded. Still no outs here in the bottom of the first inning. Moncada would probably be on third. We'd have first and third with a 3rd run in if not for that base running error. So a bad decision on the base paths. But Yasmani Grandal's up, finally over 200 again, hitting 208. He had a home run last night. He's starting to come out of his funk. Needs to continue today. He takes the first pitch inside for a ball. Next one, outside changeup for a ball, 2-0. The first 5 batters for the White Sox have gotten a hit. 2 runs are in, the bases are loaded. A base hit here should at least fix that base running error. 3-0 pitch coming from Montgomery here. Swung on and missed under a 4-seam fastball in the zone, 3-1. So he had the green light on 3-0 with the bases loaded. Renteria having faith in Grandal. It was a strike anyway, though, the pitch. This one's jam shot up the middle. It's going to be a slow roller and bobbled it short. Everybody is going to be safe here. Everybody's safe. Mondesi went for the transfer to get it over to second to start the double play and never had the ball with him. It drops out of his glove. He turns around. By the time he gets it, everybody's safe. A run is in. The bases remain loaded for Adam Engel. 3-0 White Sox. Bases loaded. No outs. The first 6 batters have reached base for the White Sox. And Engel's hitting 400. Doesn't play every day, but has played enough. And he takes a pitch inside. 1-1 the count. Montgomery. Again, I can't stress enough. He had a whip, a walks and hits per inning pitched of 1.06 coming into this game. That got blowed up. Incredible. Engel swings and misses at one down at the knees. 1-2 the count. For the first time all game, Montgomery's got a pitcher's count against somebody on the White Sox. The pitch. Chopped up the middle to second. Quick flip to short over to first. It's going to be a double play. Moncada will score. It's 4-0. So there's 2 outs now in the inning. And Luis Roberts going to come up with a runner on third and Encarnacion. And if you're worrying about that base running mistake by Abreu, erase that at this point. Because Encarnacion would not be anywhere further than he is at third base. And the 2 guys in front of him have scored. So it was a mistake, but didn't cost the White Sox anything. And it's 4-0 here with 2 outs in the bottom of the first inning. The pitch to Robert. Low, below the knees on a changeup, 1-0 the count. Robert leads the majors with 10 stolen bases on the season so far. The rookie, though, struggling at the plate, hitting .203. And was thrown out the last time he tried to steal a base going for number 11. That was the first time he was caught stealing. Hard shot over to short, fielded on the 1-hop and over to first. 6-3, Mondesi puts him out, but not before. For the second night in a row, the White Sox put up 4 in the first inning. And lead going into the second, 4-zip. Reynaldo Lopez has been staked a lead of 4-0. Last night when Gio Gonzalez got that, he immediately gave up 2 runs. Soler steps up, hitting .241, and the first pitch is on the way. Jam shot down the line, 0-1 the count, foul ball. He is 11 for his last 17. Soler tearing it up, the pitch. Swung on and missed on a 4-seam fastball. 0-2. Lopez looks in, the pitch on the way. High 4-seam fastball, 1-2. Interesting thing about this game. This is the first game that the White Sox and Royals have played against each other. 9th overall this month, as this one is slow rolled over to first base. Abreu will catch it and step on first for the unassisted 3 putout. 1 out. He was pretty much the same pitchers, all 3 same starters in the first series and in the second series. And the first 2 games of this third series was the second time that we had seen Danny Duffy and the second time that we had seen Jacob Junis. This is the first time we've seen Montgomery and the first time they've seen Lopez. This is deep fly ball out in the left field. Underneath it is Larry Garcia. He'll catch it about a foot before the track. Long fly out. 2 outs here in the top of the second inning for Sal Perez. Swung on and missed on a 4-seamer inside and low. 0-1 the count. Lopez working quickly, delivers a Grandal outside changeup. 1-1. A pretty sky out there, partly cloudy. A lot of sun. We have not had a rain out yet this year, although we've played in some storms. So this team has not gotten any breaks over the last few weeks and will not get their first day off until next Monday. Or Monday now. I guess we're less than a week away finally. 3-1 count as that one misses on the outside corner. The pitch to Perez. Checks it up. They're going to say he didn't go around. Grandal asked for the appeal but didn't get it. I think that was a good ask. So a questionable walk right there, but Perez is on first base, and Ryan O'Hearn comes up hitting 185, 3 home runs, 12 RBIs on the season. As the Royals hitters continue to struggle early on this season, and the White Sox pitchers are eating them up at least during this series. Hasn't been perfect, that's for sure. But 4-0 with 2 outs in the top of the second, I'll take it. The pitch. Low curveball misses, 1-0 the count. O'Hearn, 5 for 11 lifetime against Lopez with 2 home runs. The lefty waits for this pitch. Hits the area around his knees right across the plate. 1-1. The pitch on the way. High and inside 4-seamer, 2-1 the count. Day baseball on a Wednesday. Getaway day before 4 in Los Angeles against the Angels. Then a day off and 2 in Colorado. The pitch. High 4-seam fastball misses, 3-1. So for the second straight time, after getting 2 outs, Lopez is 3-1 to the batter. This time he's got a runner on first. Gets the inside corner on the check swing. 4-seamer, waist high, count goes full. Pitch number 28 right here. Just misses on the outside corner. Looked like a take all the way by O'Hearn. And Lopez with 2 outs is now put on 2 with the free pass. And Maikel Franco comes up, hitting 282. And this is the problem that Gio Gonzalez had. And a lot of White Sox starters have had. The bullpen not so much, but the starters. Those long innings where the White Sox offense goes off and scores runs seems to throw them off. They have a hard time that first half inning back. A low fastball below the knees misses, 1-0 the count. Lopez getting too picky. He's just got to take it and throw it. He's slowing down. This one's chopped to short. Anderson's going to scoop it, throw over to first, and they're going to get him as Abreu picks it out of the dirt. A sloppy throw over, but it gets the job done. Midway through 2, Sox lead 4-0. Good crowd out on the fan deck. You can see them today. They're packed out there, even though there's lots of greens in the seats. Nick Madrigal's up, hitting 111. He's got 1 hit since he's been called up. He's not played every day. He was 0 for 3 with a strikeout the last game. He's playing a game on, a game off basically right now as they try to acclimate him. Swing and a miss, 1-1 the count. Renteria suggested that very soon he will be every day at second. But with the team chugging along at the pace it's going at, you don't want to just cut off Danny Mendick. And Larry Garcia's been red hot. On the other hand, there wasn't enough versatility and an infielder needed to be added to this team. So Madrigal, with the slow introduction to the majors as the count goes even after he takes a 4-seamer down the middle. You can see that Madrigal is not performing the way that we've read about the minors. Swings at bad pitches from time to time, has struck out several times for a guy that we were told doesn't strike out a lot, and has taken some pitches right in the middle of the strike zone as he swings and misses at one that gets away. Drop third strike, it'll be close at first. He put everything he could into it, but they still got him. as Perez was able to recover in time and throw that one from back behind the umpire to get him on the drop third strike. One out in the bottom of the second inning, and Tim Anderson comes up 1-for-1 with a solo shot. It started this whole thing off, and he rips this one quickly to second base, and it's snagged out of the air. That had double written all over it. It was just hit directly at second base. So a quick line out, 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. Larry Garcia, who hit a double and scored, is up for the 35th pitch from Mike Montgomery in this game with 2 outs in the bottom of the second inning. Back to Madrigal. The sim, and we'll just kind of take away the curtain here. We'll peel it back real quick. The sim does not rate him the way that we've heard about him. He does have a tendency to strike out. Not a lot, but he's not the always make contact guy that we expected him to be. And they don't even give him these really high defensive ratings, even though we've heard for years he's a Gold Glover before he even gets up here. Like when he was in single A, Nick Madrigal, all we kept getting told on Sox in the Basement, he's a Gold Glover right now. Nothing needs to be done defensively. 2-1 pitch to Garcia. Swung on and missed 2-2. So I don't know if it would be exactly the same way if in real life Nick Madrigal came up, but I do notice some pretty amazing defensive plays, so maybe I'm not reading these ratings correctly. This one's flared out in the right center field. It's going to get down for a base hit. Larry Garcia's coming in hard to second, and he is safe on a bad throw in. He challenged the throw in, and he gets his 4th double. Looked like a single all the way, but that was aggressiveness. And I don't think the Royals expected him to be doing that with a 4-0 lead. But Larry never let up coming around first base, and he's at second now in scoring position with 2 outs in the bottom of the second inning. And Abreu, who's seen one pitch and immediately sent that into the outfield, stands in with 2 outs in the bottom of the second inning. Pitch number 40 for Montgomery, chopped back foul, 0-1 the count. Next pitch, outside change taken, 1-1. Montgomery checks Garcia. The pitch on the way. Misses low on a sinker, 2-1 the count. Montgomery delivers. Swung on and missed outside, 2-2. When the White Sox faced the Royals last week and lost 2 out of 3 in Kansas City, this one's outside and the count goes full. The run they went on since then includes 3 out of 4 against the Rangers and taking the first 2 here. So they've won 5 out of their last 6. And they lead now in that 7th game since then, 4-0. Chopped down the first base line, fair ball, it's going to get by, and roll into the corner by the 335 sign. Garcia's coming around and scoring easily, and Abreu's in the second with a double, and the White Sox lead at 5-0. Big hit by Abreu, puts it right down the line, opposite field, skips over the bag at first. O'Hearn can't get to it, and it just rolls all the way out to the wall. And the Royals are done with Montgomery this soon. The kid didn't have it today. He goes 1 2/3. Sox have scored 5 against him. And so Mike Montgomery, the most effective pitcher that the Royals had up until this point, with the 1.06 whip, is chased before the end of the second inning. In long reliever, Jesse Hahn comes in with 20 1/3 innings, but an ERA of 7.97, 19 strikeouts to 7 walks, and a record of 1-3. Opposing hitters are batting .285 against him right now. So it's not like they brought in like a stud to shut everything down. It's the first pitch to Moncada, is lifted down the right field line, tailing back towards the wall to the pole, and it's caught right up against the wall at the pole down the first base line. The 108ers were excited. It just didn't make it to them. After 2, Sox lead 5-0. Anderson Miller comes up. He killed the White Sox in Kansas City, but he hadn't seen the field in the first 2 games of the series. And now he's playing center today. And what's crazy is he's one of the hottest hitters on this team, but they're not using him as often as you would think they would. They don't have a lot of guys hitting really well, but Anderson Miller is in like a platoon role. He beat up the White Sox. He's one of the big reasons that we lost 2 out of 3 in Kansas City last week. And he's batting 9th today as this one goes off of the butt of Lopez, bounces to Anderson, who picks it up and throws it barehanded across the field for the 6-3 putout. And the Twins are trailing today in a day game getaway as well. So the White Sox would like to pick up another one on them. get within 2 games of first. Really competitive AL Central right now. The White Sox and the Indians would be the 2 wild card teams. I know it's April, but it's just fun to look at. They'd be the 2 wild card teams right now if the season ended after 3 or 4 weeks. In a shortened season, Sox would be in the playoffs right now. 1-1 pitch after Mondesi takes a ball and then swings and misses at one at the knees. 1 out here in the top of the third. Alberto offers at and misses a 4-seamer tailing away outside, 1-2 the count. Reynaldo Lopez has been sharp in every start except for 1. And it must be nice to come out here today, get a big lead spotted to you, and just get to go to work. Swung on and missed 4-seamer. Strikes him out, and Lopez spun around and pumped his fist. He's feeling it right now. No pressure, feeling good. And after all the doubt in the offseason about him, people talking about, and we talked about it, no way he makes it past the promotion of Michael Kopech in the rotation. He is staking his claim to a rotation spot so far. Gordon fouls one off, 0-1 the count. 2 outs, top of the third. He's got 5 doubles so far, and it's second on the Royals. And the 1-1 pitch on the way. Chopped right to Lopez, flips it to Abreu. 1-2-3, the inning is over. And midway through the third, the White Sox lead the Royals 5-0. Edwin Encarnacion comes up, 1 for 1 with a single in the first. Average is up to 260. He's got 9 home runs and 20 RBIs so far. He was in a slump last week, but he has hit out 4 home runs in the 4 games leading into this one, including a grand slam yesterday. Next one's rocketed deep down the third base line, hooking foul right before the pole. Almost 5 home runs in 5 days. Jesse Hahn looks like a deer in headlights after that one. Taking a breath on the mound, the count is 1-1. The pitch, outside, misses, 2-1. Cleveland gets a late start today against Oakland. Same thing for the Yankees in Detroit. 3-1 now the count at that one misses. The pitch. Ball 4, take your base. So an outside 4-seamer misses. No outs in the bottom of the third, and the first runner's on. In Encarnacion. He's not a speed demon, but he's on. Grandal steps up. Grandal pops this one straight up on the first pitch to the first baseman who calls off the catcher halfway down the line. 1 pitch, 1 out for him. Encarnacion remains at first base as Engel comes up. 0 for 1 with a ground out in the first, hit into a double play for the first 2 outs of the game. And he's the 7-hitter. That'll tell you how that first inning went. A low 2-seamer misses, 1-0 the count. Engel was red hot. He's starting to even out a little bit now. They like to use him against lefties. But now Hahn's a righty, and this one's going to be dribbled to second base. He's going to choose to throw to second and not get Encarnacion. And Engel's in the first. They're going to rule that a base hit, but in reality, it was just a poor decision by Hahn, who tries to go for a double play, but that ball got to him so slowly. He turns around too late, and Encarnacion's on second base before the ball gets there. First and second, 1 out, bottom of the third. Luis Robert takes an inside 4-seamer for ball 1, 1-0 the count. The next offering, inside and high on a 2-seamer at 93 miles an hour. Up near his face. Backs out of the way, 2-0 the count. Hahn delivers. Up the middle of the short and thrown over the head of the second baseman in the right field. Encarnacion is going to come around and score. Everybody goes 2 bases. So Engel's on third and Roberts on second. He tried to start the double play and Mondesi threw it into right field. Way too much there. And Engel coming around second collides at second base and still makes it to third. A run scores at 6-0 White Sox. Roberts on second base. Engel's on third. 1 out, bottom of the third, and Madrigal's up 0 for 1. The tiniest guy in all of baseball stands in there in the right-handed batter's box and swings and chops one down the first baseline foul. The pitch on the way. Chopped foul again, 0-2 quickly. A base hit would score both these guys. The pitch. Chopped to third base, slow roller, Only play is the first. Engel will come home and score, as it took forever for that ball to get down the line. And he was off on contact. The White Sox lead 7-0 now, with Robert on second base, and TA is up there 1 for 2 with a solo home run that led this all off at the beginning of the game. Robert with the lead on second, the pitch. Low and outside, 1-0 the count. The Royals probably can't wait to get out of town. They lose 16-2 last night. They're down 7-0 here in the third. To the White Sox, this one is belted deep down the third baseline. Just foul. Almost a second home run, right near the pole. The 1-1 pitch. Low and outside, two-seamer catches the corner, 1-2 the count. 16-2, the White Sox win yesterday. They're leading 7-0. They won on Monday, going for the sweep today, their first sweep of the season. Change-up outside misses 2-2. If you're still trying to get into the ballpark, grab your broom. You might need it. The pitch. Anderson chops at the second base. He's going to get underneath his glove. Coming around is Robert. He's going to score as this one goes out into center field. It almost looks like the Royals have given up. You've got an entire team out there making errors, not diving for the ball, kind of watching what's happening out there. I think the White Sox took their soul last night, and today they're stepping on it. The White Sox lead 8-0 with 2 outs now in the bottom of the third, and Anderson on first base. Leury Garcia's 2 for 2 and stands in the pitch. Down the middle, a two-seamer, 0-1 the count. The unwritten rules of baseball would say don't steal Tim Anderson. You know he wants to, because Robert leads him by 1 steal for the MLB lead. I don't know if he'd go, though, at this point. With the bad blood with the Royals, seems like a bad idea. 0-2 as this one's fouled off down the third base line. Hahn trying to finish off Garcia, get out of this inning. Swung on and missed on a 4-seamer in on the hands. 3 pitches, he goes down, but not before the White Sox do damage. With 2 outs here in the third, and they lead after 3, 8-0 on the south side of Chicago. Foundation issues not properly handled can be costly. Family Waterproofing Solutions is owned by Ken, a veteran of the United States Marines, and his wife Maria, making them a veteran-owned business and a female-owned business that will diagnose and repair wet or leaky basements. And while they're located on the Sox side, Family Waterproofing services the entire Chicagoland area and Northwest Indiana. And now, after taking time off to ensure they can do things safely and securely for you, Family Waterproofing is back in business and doing jobs. Plus, part of the proceeds for every job that they do are donated to veteran and first responder organizations who support our frontline defenders. And currently, Sox in the Basement listeners have access to special pricing when they contact Family Waterproofing Solutions now, 708-330-4466, or visit them today at FamilyBasementWaterproofing.com. Folks, remember to check out Family Waterproofing Solutions. They're out of Evergreen Park on the south side of Chicago. You got a vet who owns it, female-owned, husband and wife team. It's a family business. And they've got great White Sox deals for you, Sox in the Basement deals for you, that they've set up specifically for those that listen to this show. As a ground ball to Anderson on the first pitch, goes over to Abreu for the first out of the fourth inning. And Jorge Soler comes up. Whit Merrifield can't buy a break. He's out there. Soler's 0 for 1 with a ground out in the second inning. And don't forget, a portion of the proceeds goes to veteran and first responder organizations. Soler's 0-1, now he's 0-2 quickly. 2 fastballs on the outside corner. Lopez just pouring it in right now. Sitting on 44 pitches with 1 out in the top of the fourth inning and nothing in terms of pressure on his shoulders. He can just go out and pitch like it's a simulated game. 4-seamer misses low and outside, 1-2 the count. Sox get on a plane after this and fly out to Los Angeles, where they will then take a quick ride to Anaheim and play the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim for 4 games. Pitch misses outside, 2-2 the count. Then a day off and 2 in Colorado against the Rockies. Then they get a nice day off for their trip back, so they get a nice little break. And I think they deserve those 2 days off in 1 week, because they have been workhorses as a team. Swung on and missed. Another strikeout for Lopez. 2 gone here in the top of the fourth, and Hunter Dozier comes up 0 for 1. The righty waits and fouls the first one off down the third base line. He flew out in the second inning. He's 3 for 9 in the series. Don't say Hunter Dozier isn't trying. You know, when I sit there and I say that the Royals' soul has been taken by the White Sox over the last 24 hours, Hunter Dozier, maybe, I would leave him out of that equation. The guy's 1-1, the pitch on the way. And this one hits the outside corner, 1-2. He's been hitting. He's been playing incredible defense. Just the rest of the guys around him right now. Inside four-seamer, 2-2 the count. Lopez trying to knock this inning out. Chop to short. Anderson scoops and throws. The inning ends as the inning began. 6-3 putout. TA to Abreu, who will lead off the inning. Midway through the fourth, Sox lead by a bunch. As we start off the bottom of the fourth inning with the White Sox up 8-0, I can't believe I'm spending 2 straight games like vamping during this show, because the Sox have such a big lead. Inside pitch to Abreu, 1-0. Hahn remains out there. Philadelphia is leading Texas 7-3. You know, I loved making fun of the great late Ed Farmer about how he would talk about his golf game all the time. But man, I wish I had a golf game to talk about right now. We talked about wine last night during that 16-2 win. We talked about how to buy your beer from local breweries. The 1-1 pitch fouled off, 1-2. We even talked about how breweries were going under and you had to support them by buying beer from them. And then this morning it gets announced that Argus Brewing on the south side is going out of business. Grounded out over to second, flipped over to first, 4-3 putout, 1 out here in the bottom of the fourth. And Moncada's got a single. He's 1 for 2. He scored a run. He's hitting .337 and steps in. Start of the game hitting from the right side of the plate. That's when he got the single. On the left side of the plate, he's 0 for 1. And Hahn throws a fastball over his bat, swinging. 0-1 the count. Argus Brewing going out of business. They're selling whatever they've made, and they're locking it up. Started by a father and son on the south side, 10 years going. And they are a business victim of our current pandemic. A great brewery. We've talked about them a lot here at my 9-foot homemade oak bar. One of my other shows, The Broadcast Basement, it's still up. You can go check that out. A bunch of my friends sit down here. We've been doing it for like 12 years. Just screwing around and drinking beer. And we've had a lot of Argus. We've talked to Argus before, as that one is rolled out to second for another 4-3 putout. Moncada's down. 2 outs in the bottom of the fourth with the White Sox leading 8-0, and Edwin Encarnacion comes up. So it's important to support your local businesses because we're already seeing breweries closing. And I love breweries. I really, really love them. That's why I'm drinking this Blue Island beer right now. That's why I go to Open Outcry and I get beer delivered to me there. I find all the no contact people. I think businesses that have figured out you have to be no contact are going to survive. Those that are stubbornly still delivering pizzas without a mask on might be in trouble. That's just my own personal opinion. Because my wife, she sees them bringing their pizzas out to the car while she's in her car. She realizes they have nothing on. She goes, well, we're not getting pizza from them. It only takes one person in the household to feel that way. You're done as a business. The 2-1 pitch to Encarnacion trails in for a ball, 3-1 with 2 outs here in the bottom of the fourth. And Hahn remains on the mound as the sacrificial lamb in his 8-0 shellacking. Here in the bottom of the fourth inning, the White Sox up 8-0. The pitch to Encarnacion. Fly down the first baseline, foul. Sox on 35th is where you get your recaps of these games, as Encarnacion takes a 2-seamer on the outside corner and walks down the first base. They'll have stats for the entire team following this game, because after every series we give them the entire team, all the stats, so you can pore over how the team is doing. And the box scores are there after every game with a wrap-up. As Grandal steps in, 1 for 2 with Encarnacion on first base. And trust me, folks, I have not put this on easy mode. This simulation's been running the same way since day one. The White Sox are just beating up on the Royals, and they have a terrible record, and I was surprised that the Royals were 3-3 against the Sox in the first 6 meetings. But in this series, the White Sox have taken it to them and slapped them around. First pitch to Grandal misses. The next one flied out into deep center field, trailing back towards the wall to the track. It will be caught against the wall. Grandal just misses a 2-run home run. End of 4. Sox continue to lead 8-0 with Lopez on the mound. Reynaldo Lopez continues here in the top of the 5th, only at 52 pitches. He's having a great game, overshadowed by the fact that his team is winning 8-0. Sal Perez comes up. He walked in the 2nd inning. We'll kick off the top of the 5th. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the real world with Major League Baseball. Tony Clark and the Players Association have dug in their heels. This one's a ball 1-0. And basically said there are no more negotiations here. We're going to play with or without fans. Everything's set. This one's flared out into right center field. It's going to get down and get to the wall as Robert chases it back. Now to throw into second base. Going to be close with Perez. He's safe under the tag. So a leadoff double for Salvador Perez, his 6th of the season. He is second on his team with 6 doubles behind Franco, who has 7. He's been doing pretty well with the extra base hits. Ryan O'Hearn, not doing very well at all with anything. Hitting 185, and he's down in that 7th spot, the first baseman. That's not a good thing. The pitch from Lopez inside to the lefty on a 4-seamer, 1-0 the count. So the idea is there were negotiations between MLB and the Players Association. And in these negotiations, they figured out, okay, if we don't play, this is what your guys are going to get paid. This is how service time will work. If we play a partial season, this is how your guys will get paid. This is how service time is going to work. But there was never anything on if we play but without fans in the stands. This one has popped up to Madrigal. He sits underneath it and puts it away for the first out of the 5th inning. Runner remains at second base, and Franco comes up 0-for-1. Now, there was a clause that said that economical considerations or something along those lines would be taken into account if we had to play without people in the stands, but nothing was outlined as to what kind of a cut the salary would take of each and every Major League Baseball player, like how much money they were going to lose. Now, Major League Baseball wants to restart, but they are going to do it without fans. And if they do that, they want to pay the players less because they don't get the gate. They don't get the concessions. 1-2 count now to Franco. Pitch number 60 from Lopez on the way with 1 out in the top of the 5th. Outside 4-seamer, 2-2 the count. So, just like any negotiation would go in any kind of job setting, when you have a union and you have an employer, high 4-seam fastball under the bat of the swinging Franco for a strikeout, the 3rd for Lopez in this game. 2 outs in the top of the 5th, and Perez remains on second base. Nice release on that one. He's making the glove pop today. So with 2 outs here in the top of the 5th, this is the easiest summary I can give you. The Players Association and the players have an awful lot on their side. They know there's a clock on Major League Baseball where eventually TV rights aren't even going to pay them that much, so they have to get a deal done quick. They know there's a collective bargaining agreement coming up, and nobody wants to have a stoppage 2 years in a row. First 2 pitches fouled off 0-2. And they know they're already getting paid X amount of dollars if they don't play, and at least 10 to 15% of their guys don't even want to play with nobody in the stands. So knowing they probably wouldn't even get everybody out there who was a player, and they already have resistance to doing this, they're digging their heels in and saying, we want full salary because there's no way we can get our guys to show up otherwise. The 1-2 pitch in the dirt is going to roll back. Perez is going to stay at second. So the count evens at 2 to Anderson Miller, the 9-hitter, who's 0-for-1. So it's a logical decision by the union. Do I like it? No, I want baseball back. Swung on and missed on a curveball. Lopez strikes that guy out as well. He's getting better as the game goes on. We move on to the bottom of the 5th. The White Sox lead 8-0. Eric Skoglund comes in. We saw him yesterday. He came in during that big blowout. He's got a 5.56 earned run average over 6 games and 11 1/3 innings with a 2-2 record. 11 strikeouts to 3 walks, and Adam Engel comes up and is like, thank you, because you brought in a big lefty against me, and I like to hit lefties. So he'll lead off the inning 1-for-2 in this game. Sox leading 8-0 in the bottom of the 5th. So as much as I want baseball to happen, when you take a step back and you take emotion out of it, you understand what the players are doing here. This is the most leverage they probably ever had against ownership, because they can sit out and make a point and still get money. And it's going to be bad PR, but you have you also have a section of the populace who's going to sit there and say, well, why should they go out there and play anyway? It's stupid. You only have to go on Twitter. You can find there's a rainbow of ideas about this thing. Some people think we should sit in our homes for 18 months, and some people want to go back to work right now. And then there's every little step in between. And I'm not going to argue about anywhere on that spectrum with you. But I am going to tell you that the union and the players understand that while some people might get mad at them, some will not. And this is the best position they've been in ever to negotiate. Ground ball to second base, scooped up and sent over to first. The 4-3 put out of Engel. One gone here in the bottom of the 5th inning. So just think about it that way. Think about it in those respects. The owners always have the advantage they can lock players out. And the players' only advantage is to walk away and be the bad guys like in 94. Even though I blame the owners and the players equally in that. And knowing that you have a CBA coming up next year, you start the negotiations on a hard line because you might even be able to lay groundwork or get things settled now for the next CBA. Because this is the most you're ever going to have owners over a barrel. There are some teams running on shoestring budgets. Some have plenty of money. Some of them do not. You got this report that Alex Rodriguez, as Luis Roberts up there with a 1-2 count, Alex Rodriguez and his girlfriend, Jennifer Lopez, are thinking about buying the Mets at a discount. This one's fouled off down the first base line. Teams like the Mets, they don't have a lot of money. They don't play this year, they're going to have to sell at a discount. And so you have some owners that are like, whatever the players want, let's just get back on the field. Foul ball down the first base line, just missed the line at first base. 1-2 the count, remains the pitch. Robert flares this one out to left, straight at the left fielder, Gordon, who doesn't even need to move, catches a line out. 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th inning. You have owners that are scared. Not all of them have money. Not all of them can survive. And you have players that at least have some support from those that are like, you shouldn't even be playing, or I would totally understand if you didn't play because you want to be with your family during this trying time. Some of us don't understand it at all, but some do. This is the most support that the players will ever have if they play hardball with the owners. And that's what they're doing. 0-2 pitch to Madrigal. Hits at the knees. 0-1 the count. In an 8-0 blowout, I just want Nick Madrigal to get a hit. Like, that's all I want. Make me happy. 1-1 as that one misses on the outside corner. He's 0 for 2. He's only had 1 hit in his first week up here. He's been playing really good defense, though. And the White Sox have been winning. Swung on and belted down the first base line. Line drive picked out of the air by O'Hearn. That one was headed for extra bases. So that was just bad luck. He's hitting it. The hits, though, will come later. After 5, Sox lead 8-0. Reynaldo Lopez starts the top of the 6th inning with 66 pitches under his belt. And Alberto Mondesi, the leadoff hitter, 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a pop-out. The Royals have 2 hits and also 2 errors. No runs scored. The White Sox, no errors, 10 hits, 8 runs. The pitch on the way. Inside fastball taken for a ball, 1-0 the count. So in the real world, I don't know if there's going to be baseball. Now, do I think that it's over? No. When you're in a negotiation, you take the hard line on one end while the other side takes the hard line on the other end, and then you see who's going to blink first. Like I said, the players have a great advantage here. And they're not missing the opportunity. As this one's grounded to second base. Nice play by Madrigal. He turns, he jumps, and he throws on the jump throw behind second base. Makes a spectacular defensive play. And that's an out. First out of the 6th inning. He has not been hitting well. But the defense at second base has been exemplary. And Alex Gordon comes up 1 for 2. And the lefty takes a changeup outside. 1-0 the count. He was a Gold Glove winner last year. The next pitch on the way. Swung on and missed on a 4-seamer out of the zone, tailing away. He couldn't lay off. 1-1 the count. He thought he checked that up, but that bat came all the way around. Bad argument. Flares this one down the first base line. Umpire has to duck as it goes foul. Bounces off the wall in foul territory. Low in the dirt on a curveball, 2-2 the count. With 1 out in the top of the 6th to Gordon, the next pitch from Lopez. Low on a 4-seamer, 3-2. Merrifield's on deck hitting 172 now. The average continues to get worse. he's going to get going at some point. We're going to be thanking our stars. We got through 9 games of him being bad as we played the Royals early. Four-seamer fouled off down the third base line. Count remains full with 1 out in the top of the 6th. I still think there could be baseball. But the owners are going to have to fold. I don't know if their pride's going to get out of the way, because all the cards are held at this point by the players. All of them. Curveball hits the outside corner for strike 3. 5th strikeout for Lopez. 2 outs now in the top of the 6th. Whit Merrifield comes up 0 for 2. And the pitch on the way. He sends this one deep in the left field. Back to the wall. It goes off the wall. Played off the wall by Garcia. He'll get it in. The cutoff man, Anderson. It's a double standing up for Whit Merrifield. He must have heard me somewhere talking about how bad he's been. I told you he's got talent. He's been playing really bad to start the year off. He almost clears the wall here. Stays inside the ballpark for the 3rd hit for the Royals so far, with 2 outs in the 6th inning. And up comes Jorge Soler, 0 for 2. Last week, he was a beast, killing the White Sox at every instance. He was one of the big reasons the White Sox lost 2 out of 3 in Kansas City last week. Since then, the Sox took 3 out of 4 from the Rangers here at home. They've taken the first 2 in this series and lead 8-0 with 2 outs in the top of the 6th inning in Game 3. High fastball taken for a ball, 1-1 the count. I think the hardest thing for baseball writers right now is the idea that they don't want to admit there's not a lot to talk about. They're covering the minors, they're covering negotiations, they're covering the possibility of baseball coming back, they're talking about certain players and doing feature stories, but it's difficult to cover a sport that isn't actually playing and has already had its offseason, and you're not going to see any moves happen. That was in the dirt, 2-1 the count to Soler, the pitch on the way. Foul back, counts even, 2 out, top of the 6th, with a runner on second base. So I think they really want the season to start. But I think I just explained it pretty simply. Players have all the cards, owners have to come up with the money. It might not be financially available to them to be able to do it. It's going to be an interesting vote by the owners, and a lot of interesting stuff going on behind the scenes as the count goes full here to see if baseball comes back. And I don't know if it comes back if it's not back by mid-June. The ground ball to short, flipped over to first. Easy put out, and the inning's over. Through 6, Reynaldo Lopez gives up no runs and only 3 hits, and his team leads 8-0. Bottom of the 6th inning, Timmy Anderson's up 2 for 3, a home run and a single. Started everything off with that big solo shot in the 1st inning. White Sox tacked on 3 more as this one sent out to left field on a line drive and pulled in by Gordon, who makes a nice play on it. Didn't have to dive, but he had to play the angle perfectly there, and he gets it. So 1 pitch, 1 out quickly here in the bottom of the 6th inning as the Angels our appointment tomorrow in Los Angeles. Our next opponent are leading 4-3 at home against Baltimore. We are a very different team compared to Baltimore. Larry Garcia comes up, 2 for 3, and takes a pitch outside for a ball, 1-0 the count. Skoglund, pitch number 19, the lefty gets fouled off down the third base line, 1-1. He's stopped the bleeding, that's for sure. The Royals have been giving up runs like crazy. He stopped it. He did a pretty good job stopping it yesterday. Ground ball to third base, scooped up and sent over by Hunter Dozier. The 5-3 putout, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th inning, and Abreu comes up 2 for 3. He's got a double, he's got a single. How about a triple or a homer? Low fastball misses below the knees, 1-0 the count. Skoglund has actually done a very good job yesterday and today keeping the White Sox down when they were on this hit parade. But if he's left in there too long, they're going to get to him. First time through the order, though, he was good yesterday, and he so far is doing well today. The lefty delivers a curveball outside, 3-0. He's nibbling at Abreu. Now takes his head off, walks around the mound. But with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th, and the fact that Yoan Moncada's on deck and hits much better from the right side, he might want to go after him. Four-seamer catches the plate, take it all the way, 3-1 the count. Skoglund looks in. The pitch. Swung on and missed at a four-seamer. Abreu couldn't catch up to it. Count goes full. So a full count, 2 outs, bottom of the 6th inning. Sox lead 8-0, nobody on. The pitch. Cracked down the first base line. It may come in there fair. It is foul and gets just underneath the glove of a diving Soler at the foul line. Will reset. Next pitch sent out into right field in the opposite direction towards center field. Tailing back, Soler goes back to the wall and will catch this about 2 feet before the fence on the run. He had to go a long way to get it, but it hung up there long enough. A long fly out by Abreu. After 6 full innings, the Sox continue to lead 8-0. And Hunter Dozier is 0 for 2. The fly on the ground out. Here in the top of the 7th is Reynaldo Lopez on 86 pitches. Will come out and continue to throw for the White Sox. What's a strike on the outside corner on a four-seam fastball, 0-1 the count. He's got a shutout so far. He's only given up 3 hits, and he's cruising. You got 4 games in Los Angeles coming up, so no need to go to the bullpen if you don't have to. 0-2 quickly on a swinging strike to Dozier on the inside portion of the plate. And Lopez quickly back into the line in the pitch. Chopped to second. Madrigal on a shift was standing directly behind the bag. He moves over to the shortstop side of the bag and then delivers it over to Abreu on the ground out. 4-3. 1 out in the top of the 7th inning. Salvador Perez comes up. He's got one of those 3 hits. It was a double earlier on in the game. Lopez, low and inside, catches the corner on a beautiful pitch. He's been painting the corners very well. Incredible accuracy out there today. Sox are up 8-0 and won 16-2 last night, but I don't want to discount what Lopez is doing. He's been sharp all season long with the exception of 1 start. He comes out today, and he is just mowing them down. He's 0-2 to Perez now on a high fastball that Perez offered at and missed. The 0-2 pitch on the way. Swung on and chopped foul. He just got a piece of it. Lopez. Maybe with the strongest outing we've seen from a White Sox pitcher to date. As it's flared out in the center field, Robert's going to come in and make the catch. 2 outs in the top of the 7th inning. And Ryan O'Hearn comes up. He's hitless today. Lopez into the line and the pitch on the way. High four-seam fastball. You know, the worst things about games like this, when it gets to be a blowout, is that the bars will close. Then you're like, you know what, we're winning. Don't score any runs. Everybody go up there, swing and miss so we can get to the bar afterwards. Or the Goose Island section starts to fill up underneath. I'm sure I love blowouts. I find plenty of things to do at this ballpark, and there's lots of food. Grounded out to Abreu. He'll step on first. No score for the Royals. 8 for the White Sox midway through the 7th. Lopez having a great game. Reynaldo Lopez has had a great game. Shutout through 7 innings for him. In the bottom of the 7th, Yoan Moncada comes up. His offense has 8 runs. He's contributed. He's 1 for 3 today. Skoglund remains in, and the pitch on the way. Curveball inside, taken, 1-0 the count. Kevin McCarthy and Josh Staumont are warming up out in the bullpen. The White Sox bullpen is not even moving. Reynaldo Lopez has looked really good, although I imagine they'll have somebody up just in case. But they're going to give him some leash today. They've yet to have a complete game. They've yet to have a pitcher go over 7 innings officially. Inside corner strike, 1-2 now to Moncada. Skoglund into the wind and delivers. Chop foul down the third base line. Dozier tried to keep it in play, but it was out of play when he got it. Next one's high, taken for a ball, 2-2 the count. Moncada's eye has gotten much better than it was in the first week and a half of the season. And he has turned that into a high batting average as he rips this one down the first base line for an easy base hit. He's going to round first, but they got to it quickly. Soler's going to get it in, so it's going to be a single. On a hard hit ball down the first base line, he continues to hit better from the right side than he does the left. And Edwin Encarnacion is up with a runner on first and Moncada and no outs in the bottom of the 7th inning. You know, and that's the hardest thing. Like, you love your team. You want your team to do well, but you're at the ballpark now. Middle of the day, it's Wednesday. You know, the sun is out. It's April. They've closed off the beer. And a lot of you probably are like me if you have small children. I bring them to day games. I'm like, come on, play hooky, come with dad. You don't want to bring them into the bar, but you kind of want to bring them into the bar. I remember for years you couldn't go down to the Bullpen Sports Bar unless you were 21. Now you can bring kids in there because they serve food. They've changed it. It's like a family restaurant. So I bring them in there now, but still. Yeah, I'd be down there. I'd be down there right now. 1-2 the count, the pitch on the way. Fouled off down the third base line. I know it's not called that anymore now. I think that's all Goose Island section. But I'd be down there in the Kraft Cave or whatever they're calling it. Fouled off down the first base line. Count remains 1-2 to Encarnacion, who's been a tough out. 4 home runs in the last 4 games, but does not have one today. Swung on and missed. He strikes out. He's cut down on the strikeouts a lot over the last couple games. Still continues to lead the team, but not by as many. And there's 1 out in this inning. Now, if I'm by myself, and I have gone to games by myself, in a game like this, I'm probably exploring the ballpark. Like, I'm not going into the Hall of Fame area or anything like that, but I'm walking around on the lower deck. I'm getting a churro. It's like Taste of Chicago. I'm going to run up way too much money. I really spend more during blowouts than I do during close games that are quick. Like, ownership must love blowouts, as Grandal is 0-1 and then hits this one down the third base line and stares at it. Deep, back, gone! 2-run home run, Yasmani Grandal. 431 feet, his second home run in his last 2 games. And it is fun to watch a guy come out of a slump. And Grandal is coming out of it. Got out of here at 111.8 miles per hour. The 2-run bomb puts the Sox up by 10. It's slaughter rule again. Much like last night. He hit it and looked at it, dropped the bat right behind his back and put both arms out. Like, wow, was that pretty. Skoglund can only watch it and shake his head in disbelief. As Grandal powers it down the third base line and out. Way back into the stands. And Adam Engel comes up now. 1 for 3 with a single and a run scored. And he's 1-0 with 1 out in the bottom of the 7th inning. This one's flared out in the left field. It's going to drop in for a base hit, and Engel's on. He stands at first base with 1 out in the 7th. But yeah, I would walk around a lot during a blowout like this. You know? I would. I don't like leaving games even when it's a blowout. Unless you really got something going on. You paid for the ticket, you paid for the experience. The ballpark has so much going on. Like, I could bring my kids up to the kids zone right now. I'd have no problem with that. Beer's cut off. Let's go up, take some ground balls. You know, walk around up there. Game's out of reach. It's not a big deal. Kids love that stuff. I don't like leaving the game, but I put up with it. As Robert takes one below the knees on a 4-seamer, 1-0. This game brought to you by Cork and Kerry at the Park. Remember, you can get some great vittles. They got great ballpark food. Those pulled pork nachos are great. The Latino burger is great. I can only speak from experience on the ones that I've had over there. Those are 2 great items that they have. The cheese curds are amazing. They make hot dogs, like ballpark dogs you can pick up. Like, get a couple of dogs, listen to a game. They got wraps, they got salads, they got sandwiches. They've got hot wings. Those are good. Roberts 1-1 in the count. He flares this one down the first base line foul, with Encarnacion still remaining at first base. 1-2 the count now. But I'd be making plans of it. Like, okay, I'm going to head over there. Like, if you're with friends, maybe you leave. But, you know, you pay for the ticket. If you're going to stay in the neighborhood and, like, go to Cork and Kerry, fine, I get it. You know? But otherwise, I like staying till the end. You watch so many losses. What's the big deal about sticking around for 45 minutes to an hour or something like that when your team is killing the other team? Count goes full now to Robert, who's 0 for 3. Your team is killing the other team. You want to see the ending. You get some extra fireworks. There's plenty to do. Kind of skip around, especially on a day like today. Stands aren't that full. Haven't gotten an official tally yet. The ushers don't care at this point. You can go sit anywhere, try out a seat, go visit the guys in the 108. That's about what I do in blowout games either way. You gotta walk over and sit down with those guys. They're fun. They always have extra beers, though, sitting around them. So you have to plan ahead and make sure you got an extra one. I always get that extra one right before our last call. I got two of them. One in my hand that's full and one at my seat underneath it. Fly it out to center field. Engel retreats back to first. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th as Robert 0 for 4 today. And Nick Madrigal's 0 for 3 and he comes up. So the bottom of the order is an 0 for so far. And the White Sox still lead 10-0. And that's a good thing because you got a couple of rookies. We talked about this yesterday. You got a couple of rookies in Madrigal and Robert that need to get acclimated. This one is bellied out into right center field for a base hit. A nice hearty swing by Madrigal, and he lifts it perfectly into the gap. It's run down before it gets to the wall, so it'll only be a single. Engel's going to hold at second base, playing conservatively. And Madrigal's got a base hit, his second since coming up to the majors, and that's enough to chase the pitcher. And Jake Kalish comes out for his 9th appearance, 0-2 on the season, 20 1/3 innings with an ERA of 3.97 for the Royals. Righties hit .333 against him, lefties hit .143. 18 strikeouts to 9 walks for this relief pitcher. He's got a righty up there right now, and Tim Anderson is 2 for 4 and looking for blood. He's got 2 on. The pitch. Down the middle, a fastball. And let me tell you something, when you're up 10-0, why aren't you just letting loose? Don't get selective up there. What does it matter? But then again, the guy's the batting champ. He obviously takes his at-bats seriously each and every time. TA's 0-1, the pitch on the way. Inside fastball misses, 1-1 the count. Next offering from Kalish. Chopped to second base, it jammed him. He fended it off. I don't know why he swung it. It was ball 2, but it didn't matter. Inning's over. Grandal's got a 2-run home run. Sox lead 10-0 after 7. Looking at the replay of the Grandal home run, and that's the first time I've seen it, he hits the last row in left field underneath the kid zone. Hits a seat in the very last row that then bounces straight up and is grabbed by a guy standing on the concourse. That is a deep home run. That is a really deep home run by Yasmani Grandal. The only one I've seen hit further was Roberts on opening weekend that actually hit the base of the kid zone, and you don't see that ever. That was a deep one. Lopez comes in, throws 2 balls quickly to Maikel Franco. He's 2-0. He has less than 100 pitches so far. He's going to start the 8th inning with a shutout. But now he's 3-0 with Anderson Miller on deck. Renteria continues to let his pitchers, when they're rolling like this, attempt to get into the 8th inning. Fastball, get me over, gets over, 3-1 the count. Still waiting for that first pitcher to get an out in the 8th that started the game. Tails off down the third base line on a long foul ball, 3-2 now. The pitch to the 8-hitter Franco. Chop foul will reset, full count, top of the 8th. No outs, Sox lead 10-0. Lopez has given up only 4 hits in the game. Chop to Anderson, will pick it up and throw it over. 1 out here in the 8th inning. And Reynaldo Lopez has now gone 102 pitches and has gotten more outs than any other starting pitcher has gotten for the White Sox so far this season. A very strong outing here in late April. And a curveball just misses to Anderson Miller. The next pitch on the way. Inside misses, 2-0. The 2-0 pitch. Just misses, 3-0 the count now. Evan Marshall's been warming up now for the last couple of pitches. They're going to let Lopez go out there and do the best he can. Every starter wants to go as far as he can. The pitch on the way. Check swing taken, a 4-seamer down the middle. 3-1 the count. Fans urging Lopez on. At this point, it's finish the beers, plan the rest of the day because you're already blasted during a blowout on a Wednesday afternoon. So it's which bar are we going to next? This one's flared out in the right field. Going back towards the wall is Engel. He will stand in front of the Goose Island section and catch it with his back against the wall. 2 outs now in the top of the 8th inning. Lopez sitting on 107 pitches, still with the shutout. I think until there's a hit, he's going to continue to pitch. I mean, I imagine, and it was a great catch at the wall by Engel, I imagine that Ricky Renteria wants to show a belief in his starting pitchers. And Ray Lopez has been incredible for him. But then you also weigh it against do I really want him to give up a home run right now? Do I really want runs charged to him when he's been so good? But you got to push a young guy like this and see what he can do. And he's having a great outing. The pitch to Mondesi. Outside four-seamer taken for a ball 1-0. It's just taking him a lot of pitches now per every batter. And I don't know if you want the guy's arm to fall out with 140 pitches. Mondesi fouls this one off, 1-1 the count. Marshall is probably warm by now. The pitch on the way. High four-seamer, 1-2 the count. Wouldn't it be great to see Lopez strike him out here? Come off the mound to big applause. High four-seamer, he lays off 2-2. Lopez stares in, Grandal with the sign. Low and inside, he lays off 3-2 now with Gordon on deck. Mondesi getting selective. He wants Lopez to throw him a striker. He's going to first base. He's 0 for 3, he hasn't reached first yet. I think he wants to get down there. The pitch. Chop to second, Madrigal over to Abreu. 8 innings of shutout baseball for Reynaldo Lopez. He gets a standing ovation coming off of the mound, and he tips his cap. Midway through the 8th, White Sox lead 10-0. Also want to point out an error I had last half inning. Lopez has only given up 3 hits. I kept thinking it was 4. It was 3 hits that he's given up. And Larry Garcia comes up 2 for 4 and takes one inside on the hands for a strike. 0-1 the count. You send Lopez out? I think he's got 112, 113 pitches right now. This one sent out in the deep left field. Can of corn, 1 out. The bottom of the 8th inning. Do you want to ruin a guy? That's the other thing. But you have a day off coming up. So Lopez will not pitch in 5 days. He'll pitch in 6. Okay, it's going to be Giolito, Keuchel, Cease, and Gio Gonzalez. And then a day off before Lopez would theoretically pitch against the Rockies. So he's going to get the extra day of rest. So if he really wants to go out there, you can send him out there, but I wouldn't force him. First 2 pitches to Abreu, miss on the outside corner, 2-0. With a 10-0 lead, running the simulation, I kind of want to see what happens here. So we'll see what ends up happening. We'll see what the decision's going to be. You're riding along with this as I am. If you've waded through a 10-0 blowout, second straight day that the White Sox are winning by double digits halfway through the game. Chop to third base. Hunter Dozier's going to scoop and throw over to first. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th inning now. Yoan Moncada comes up 2 for 4, 2 singles, 2 runs scored. He's hitting .341 with 2 home runs and 12 RBIs. His OPS is below 900. That shows that he's not getting a lot of extra base hits. He's a singles hitter right now. The power's not there, but he's having great at-bats and he's getting on. Fouled off down the first base line. He's had some hard hit balls. The last one he had was hard hit down the first base line, batting righty. Both of his hits have been batting righty. He's 2 for 2 on the right side of the plate. He's 0 for 2 from the left side today. And he's got a lefty up there, so he's on the right side of the plate. So 2 for 2, standing in the batter's box where he is right now, as the shadow is now crossed home plate and sits in front of him. It may change perspective just a little bit. Swung on and belted deep. Way back into left field, he flips the bat. Moncada's got his 3rd home run, and man, he is so much better from the right side of the plate. 403 feet, out at 105 miles per hour. The Sox tack on another one and lead this game 11-0. Moncada, that's got to feel good. But you know, you can get up there and you can take your hacks when you're winning by this much and you're relaxed. You know you're going on the road, you're getting on a plane later on, you're taking a flight out to LA to play tomorrow for 4 games. You're getting to the end of this long stretch. This team is loose, this team is smiling. Moncada laughing with Encarnacion as he's coming up to the plate. Moncada comes off. The whole team is loose and laughing in the dugout, dancing around, and they have had one heck of a fun homestand here. Taking 3 of 4 from the Rangers, and I'll say it right now, sweeping the Royals in huge fashion. As Encarnacion sends this one out now deep to right field, tailing back to the wall. It goes over the head and will roll. Right fielder didn't even move, Soler. It bounced away from him. He just threw his glove on the ground. He threw his glove on the ground during a live play. First base. I'm wrong. The center fielder. I'm so astounded by this. The center fielder, Anderson, has to run over and get the ball because Soler throws his glove on the ground and stands out there like a spoiled brat. and looks at the ball roll away from him because he didn't make the play. Encarnacion's on second base. Grandal comes up 2 for 4 with a home run. Like I said earlier, the White Sox had the Royals come in, and we were tied up with them over 6 games, 3 games apiece. And the Sox were very disappointed about dropping 2 out of 3 in Kansas City. They talked about it a lot. They took it out on the Rangers, winning 3 out of 4. And then they exploded on the Royals. As Grandal hits one deep into right center field, they're going to watch it go over. Oh my Lord, it is batting practice out here. The White Sox have taken the souls of the Kansas City Royals, rolled them up in a ball, turned them sideways, and done what The Rock always says they should do. Holy moly. That's incredible. Grandal's got 2 home runs in this game. A 2-run blast there. Guess whose slump is over? And he's got a grin ear to ear. And if you stuck around in this game during a blowout, you've heard some fireworks. The Royals just want to go home. Why won't you let them go home? They're already dead. Why do you continue to stab at them, to kick them, to hit them with the shovel? It's brutal. It's a beating. I have to turn away. It's bloody. It's awful. It's horrible. As Kevin McCarthy comes in and doesn't want to pitch, but he has to pitch to Adam Engel, who's 2 for 4 with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. All those home runs with 2 outs. There were 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. I think White Sox just kind of get ready. We're like, we're done. You're done. We're done. Okay. And then we got home runs going out left and right. Oh, and it feels great. I hate the Royals. I really hate them. I've been on road trips before to Kansas City where they've beaten us up. Their fans are obnoxious. They don't know anything about the game. I remember the year that they went to the World Series. I was out in Kansas City. Not the year that they lost because Sal Perez couldn't lay off anything that was out of the strike zone standing up there in Game 7. And I laughed as that happened because he had done that all year long. The man's strike zone is terrible whenever his team needs him to get a hit. He's not clutch. 1-2 the pitch now to Engel. Strike called on a changeup. That ends the 8th inning. I'll talk more about my dislike of the Royals coming up here as Reynaldo Lopez comes out. He's going to try for the complete game shutout as the Sox lead 13-0 after 8. Raylo is up and pitching here with Alex Gordon up. Evan Marshall warmed out there. He'll come in if there's any trouble, but they're going to give Reynaldo Lopez the chance to at least start this inning. He was shaky in the 8th. But he's looking for the complete game shutout. In a masterful performance, 3 hits given up in this game, a low outside fastball taken, 1-0 the count. 114 pitches right now. The youngster comes at it again. Swung on and sent out down the third baseline foul. Back to how much I hate the Royals. Their fans know nothing about baseball. Nothing. I was in a bar during that World Series year. They couldn't name 3 players on their roster. Fly it out to Engel in right field. Can of corn. 1 out here in the top of the 9th for Lopez. Whit Merrifield comes up. He's got one of the 3 hits that the Royals have against Lopez, and Reynaldo stands out there. Slowly walking around the mound. He wants to keep going. Renteria keeping an eye on him. He's going to let him keep going. And why not? Lopez into the wind. The pitch on the way. Strike down the middle on a 4-seam fastball, 0-1 the count to Whit Merrifield. 95 miles an hour there on pitch number 117 from Lopez. Chopped down the third base line, quickly 0-2. Had a conversation with a group of guys at a bar. They couldn't name 3 players together on the team. They're wearing hats that haven't been cracked. They're flat across. One of them still had a sticker on it. They're the most fair weather fans you'll ever meet in your entire life. They make Cub fans look like real fans. As this pitch comes in to Merrifield inside, 2-2 the count. So I enjoy beating the Kansas City Royals. And they have whooped them this week. Inside pitch, laid off by Merrifield. The count is full. Soler is on deck. Lopez has been a machine. Stands out there trying to pitch his entire game on his own. A masterful performance no matter what happens next. Chopped to first, grabbed out of the air by Abreu. He steps on first. And through 8 2/3, Reynaldo Lopez has given up 3 hits and no runs, and Jorge Soler comes up 0 for 3 with a ground out in the 6th inning, 1 for 9 on the series. And Raylo will try to complete this game with a complete game shutout. White Sox leading 13-0, the best pitching performance they have seen all year long, and the second best offensive output. Grounded to short underneath the glove of Anderson into center field on the first pitch. So we'll wait a moment. That's the 4th hit. In the second base, he tries, and he's out! He's out at second! Jorge Soler with a stupid send. Decides he's going to try to get in underneath the tag. Robert notices it, flips it over real quick from short center field. He came into the screen at the last moment. I didn't even know he was going. Soler's thrown out at second base, and Reynaldo Lopez gets a complete game shutout. I think Soler just wanted to get on the plane. He was done. He was like, no, I want to be out. I got a single, now tag me out. Let's go home. My team's given up 19 runs over the last 2 days. Sox win this game 13-0 on a 4-hit, 2-walk, 5 strikeout, complete game shutout thrown by Reynaldo Lopez, who is clearly your player of the game, even though Yasmani Grandal hits 2 home runs in this game coming out of his slump, and the White Sox power machine rolls through Kansas City. They can't wait to leave the south side of Chicago. The White Sox get their first sweep of the season, get the brooms out. The White Sox lead the series against Kansas City at this point, 6 games to 3 games. And the White Sox have won 6 of their last 7. And that was their last homestand, is now to hit the road and go to Los Angeles to go take on the Angels for 4, and then 2 against the Rockies before returning back home here. Notable performances for the White Sox. Grandal, 3 for 5, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs. Yoan Moncada, 3 for 5. He got a home run as well. 3 runs scored overall. Tim Anderson, 2 for 5 with a solo shot, 2 RBIs total. And Jose Abreu, 2 for 5 with a double and 2 RBIs. White Sox crushed the Royals. An incredible 3-game series if you're a Sox fan. And a series that will go down in the history of the Royals as one of their worst. Mike Montgomery finishes as the starter with only an inning and 2/3. He gave up 8 hits and 5 earned runs with 1 strikeout. No walks. He takes the loss. And he hasn't been out there for 2.5 hours, it feels like. Sox win. They continue to do very, very well here early on in the season. We will see you tomorrow from Los Angeles, Anaheim technically, for the beginning of a 4-game set against Mike Trout and the Angels. Sox win this one. It's all brought to you by Cork and Carry at the Park, found at 33rd and Princeton. Their doors will open when we all get back to normal, but until then, visit them through Grubhub and order or go direct to corkandcarryatthepark.com. My name is Chris Lanuti. You've been listening to Sox in the Basement, the podcast for fans, by fans, simulating White Sox baseball each and every day since opening day. And it's found everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at soxinthebasement.com. Bye-bye, everybody.
Sox in the basement. Sox in the basement. Sox in the basement.
Sox in the Basement. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always on soxinthebasement.com.